Hi, this is Paul Bedford, Business Growth Specialist. Welcome to my presentations, my series on how to give Dynamite presentations. Now, these aren't in any particular order. They're just in the order that I recorded them. The idea is I want you to be able to watch them at any time and just get the key point from one particular one without having to watch the series. I will put them all on YouTube in a playlist in a proper order so you can watch them if you want to at some other time. So here's my key thing today. How do you get people to remember what you've told them 20 years later? So I gave my first big presentation when I was 18 in front of 750 people. And I told a story, and the story I told is how I was actually preparing to go away and do some voluntary work, and how I was actually learning the ropes of making beans on toast so that I'd get all the nutrition that I wanted and needed in order to survive the ordeal of living on my own and doing this voluntary work. 20 years later, and there was obviously a lot more involved with that, 20 years later I bumped into someone who was at that conference, and she remembered that talk, and she remembered the beans on toast section of the talk, and she remembered the talk because I told a story, and I made it an emotional story because I was going away and it was actually quite upsetting and sad, but also exciting at the same time. And one of the things, if you can, storytelling goes back to millions of years, thousands upon thousands of years. Before we had TV, before we had internet, one of the main ways of actually entertaining each other was through stories. And we've told stories our entire lives. Stories make things memorable. So if you want to do a presentation and you can weave your facts and figures into a story, people are much more likely to remember this story than they are if it's just a PowerPoint with loads of bullet points on. Make a story up, pop it. If it's a real life story, even better. If it's a parable, maybe it's a story that doesn't exist, but you're trying to teach a lesson from that story, that's just as powerful. So, key thing today is tell stories in your presentations, make them emotional, and people will remember them for many, many, many years. Thanks for listening.